Everything is rolling when you're ready.
Yeah, of course.
Do we want to go to toilet?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good too.
Alexander, you good to go?
Do you have beer enough?
No, but
let's pass it.
I would have to go to the toilet if I had more beer. Don't put it that close to that machine.
That's kind of the heart of what we're doing.
Fuck yeah.
Doing one hour of prep and then it's not IP classified.
You have no idea what we've been through.
with this fucker. Yeah.
Nah, but it's gonna be fun.
Because this podcast is sponsored by this gentleman and myself.
and our moms.
Classic shit.
you can guess the quality of our equipment.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's sponsored by our moms.
Yeah, mommy is paying for that. Mommy, we need a new machine, please.
But do you run it as a company?
No, it's a side gig.
Yeah, but it's not the company. It's just.
It is.
Czech Firearms Podcast.
We are going live. Right, guys, welcome to the Czech Firearms Podcast. My name is Lucas. There's a Carl from Check My Guns.
Hello.
Chilling next to me. And the guest of today's episode is Alexander Nordin from Aimpoint. Welcome, man, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Welcome to you. You're in Sweden.
Yes. We are sitting in the Aimpoint lounge in Aimpoint in Malmö, Sweden.
And we are feeling very much welcome.
Thank you.
We have blue guns in the hands and feeling more than comfortable. Thank you for the hospitality so far.
I feel very welcome as well, being in my own house, basically.
Yeah, you have the advantage here, of course. The Alexander is a director of commercial sales at Aimpoint. So what is the exact responsibility of yours?
So in my everyday life, I work as director for commercial sales, and that includes hunting and sport shooting sales. Mainly Europe, but we also cover everything outside the US.
Oh, nice.
But the biggest markets would be in Europe.
So you have a special facility in the US, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they have, it's a sales and service office basically. They have never ever built a site in the States.
Okay.
But they take care of their own business, obviously, because it's 6 to 11 hours away and all that. It's a huge market, so they have their own facilities and so on.
Cool. We almost forgot about a very classic question we place all the time.
Cannot forget about that.
Yeah, it's very typical for us. How did you get into guns?
That would be back 17 years ago, down in South Africa. Hunting
South Africa
on a safari with my father and grandfather. They went to hunting. I came along. I was 15 years old back then, and they hunted day 1, day 2, day 3, shot a few antelopes, whatnot.
And you were just watching.
Yes.
Then. Okay.
It was starting to get itch on my trigger finger. No, I didn't know. I mean, I had been with my father in the woods and so on, but not too heavily involved. And then 4th day, as far as I remember it, the pro hunter, he looked at me and it was like $sign in his eyes. That's the way it was. And he said, "Well, boy, now let's go on and we'll go for our own little safari." So we went out. My father went with me, and we shot took a few hours. We stalked it and all that stuff. We shot a blue wildebeest.
Right. Yeah. I know what that is.
It's called a poor man's buffalo.
Yeah.
So basically,
but it's pretty dangerous. The wildebeest, I think, is one of the most dangerous.
Caliber
right?
you have.
If you track them down, yes, they can be pretty aggressive.
Okay.
But luckily enough, 1 shot, 1 kill. So it went down.
Nice.
To be honest, I have a total blackout for I think it's 5-6 minutes. I remember going on the sticks, taking the shot. Next thing I remember is my father said, "Hey, look here," and he took a photo. When I was behind, we'd flipped it over.
What?
Oh, I see.
So much adrenaline. So that was my very first.
How old were you? You say 17 years ago, but how old were
15.
you?
15.
Now I'm 32.
15.
So that was the start to a lifestyle, both off work and on work. It's not hunting, but it's gun related.
So there was no experience whatsoever.
No. At 15 years old, I went back to Sweden. After 2 seconds, back in Sweden, I bought all the literature you need to get the Swedish hunting exam and signed up to the course. You can take the course at 15, 16, whatever. I think it was 16 when I started.
Okay.
You can't have guns in Sweden before you're 18. But I had all the paperwork, all the stuff sorted out, and I went. Yeah, long story short. So my first hunting trip was when I was 18 years old and 2 days. So I'm born 29th of December. We went to Tunisia hunting boar. 1st of January, like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So I sorted out the paperwork to have the permit and the European firearms license within like 50 hours.
Yeah.
Basically impossible. But I made it, and since then, I spent all my money traveling for hunting and so on for a solid 10 years. So no Mallorca or Spain or whatever.
So all your friends were basically partying and you were just hunting around the world?
Not the world, but I was very, very focused on...
Of course, you saved some time for partying.
Yeah, that's true. So long story short, but that was from zero to a lot in terms of firearms and hunting especially.
So it was love on the first sight?
Correct.
Nice.
Correct. And to experience this with my father and my grandfather, he's still hunting. He's now 82.
Nice.
Can't put words in it. That's something else.
Yeah.
3 generations just hunting. And now he's getting old, of course. But 2 years ago, just after COVID, we went for a beaver hunt. So the 3 of us, once I can't put words in it. That's like out of this world cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
They must be proud of you that you naturally got into it.
I hope so. I'm proud of them as well that they made me who I am. Really.
Of course.
So that's it.
Yeah.
And my question would be, what was your first gun then? What have you bought?
My exact question, man.
So the first shot I took on that wildebeest was a Socko 75 Finlight 30-06, topped off with a Swarovski, size 3-12 Victory, I think.
Okay.
My first own one was Beretta A391 Eureka 2, so semi-auto shotgun. That was the only thing you were really allowed to bring to Tunisia.
Okay.
You're not allowed to have threaded barrels, so there was a smooth bore.
Right, yeah.
Semi-auto with slugs, and actually, this is pretty cool. I haven't told this to very many, with an Aimpoint Acro H1 on top.
Nice.
So my very, very first optic was an Aimpoint. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Well, considering that you were not working for Aimpoint back then.
That was
At the moment.
that was 15 years before I started for Aimpoint. So I haven't thought of it for a long time. That was 4 MOAs. It's an old one before we started building
And
2 MOAs.
Did you feel like the purchase of the optic was like a part of the tradition, or if you felt like an influence from someone?
I remember, it's now a friend of mine, Fredrik, who owns the local gun store. We went there. He said, I'm 2 meters tall, so we needed a shotgun that we can have extensions on.
Of course.
So it looks like very crazy. It's not beautiful at all, but you could
It
shoot
works.
fair. Yeah,
It works.
shoot.
Yeah.
And he said, you need to top this off with a red dot. And he said, we have this company in Malmö. It's called Aimpoint. They're only 20 minutes away. You need to buy one of those. And he said, we're kind of expensive. So I'm like, if you say it's the best, it's probably the best. I had no clue what he was talking about. And now we're in the Aimpoint headquarters.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, it's cool. I haven't actually thought of it for a long time, but that's thinking back of it, that's pretty cool to
That's a great background story or backstory. For what you achieved or what you're right now.
Yeah, but I'm happy to. It feels even better. That was my very, very first optic. And we had a good hunt. Shot a few boars. And
Of course. Then we can directly open up the conversation. What's the advantage of having a red dot on a shotgun? It's not very traditional in the place where I come from. Carl, you can tell you are the hunter here.
Absolutely.
So it's more common on a rifle for specific styles of the hunt. But on the shotguns, you don't see many people running that.
If we break it down to 3 types of shotguns, you have tactical ones, you would have semi-autos and break opens. So tactical ones for sure, but this have happened later. Now you have shotguns with Picatinny and all that stuff. So that kind of makes sense. Second would be the semi-auto. Fairly normal if you go for targets on the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's based, you would use it like a rifle where you're not allowed to have a rifle.
Yeah.
So short distances and so on. But on the break open, funny you ask, we actually have a product that is dedicated for ventilated ribs. So it's called the Aimpoint Micro S1. We put on, especially my sales team, because we're in the commercial sales, we put in a lot of efforts on pushing this product, and we sell over 1,000 a year. in Europe. So it's a pretty cool product.
Is this a recent product?
It was launched in 2016.
Oh, okay.
So we haven't done. We should have done more if you don't know about it.
No, he just doesn't shoot a break open shotgun.
Of course, yeah.
Yet
that's not his thing.
Yet.
Yeah. No, so yeah, good question. But that's something we will push even more on. Okay. We think that we know for a fact that we've done the whole journey with red dots on rifles, carbines. Now pistols happen, obviously. So for us. Obviously, but we're huge fans of red dots. But on shotguns, it actually makes sense. You can really, really keep your focus at the target and just place that shot where you want. You can kind of teach yourself if you shot a birds or clays. You know, you can be on the clay. You might be over, under, not have lead enough. With a red dot, you can really work on it and kind of get a memory with it. So
the only. The thing I remember shooting a shotgun or hunting with a shotgun was like, where's the freaking front sight?
Exactly.
So I should focus more. So with every single following shot, I was trying to find that freaking front sight and focus on it and bring some aiming, like some serious aiming to the shot. And with the Aimpoint, there is just because I could compare, because I was actually hunting with the no red dot on the shotgun whatsoever, and then I was shooting competition with the semi-auto shotgun with the red dot on it, and it's like a whole different experience. You can actually, you just do the same, but there is a dot somehow, so it feels more controlled.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because really with a shotgun you can take the shot and you think you shoot where you aim, but actually you don't, because if you don't have a position, it
just feels more confident.
Yeah. And you never look at the dot. It's just there. It's like floating in between you and whatever.
You have that affirmation or where you're actually aiming, because when you're just looking down the barrel, it can be tricky.
Yeah. And it's just a good confirmation that you did right.
So the only thing that would be a problem from our perspective is that, so you guys of course know that the OR, the MOS system, whatever, have happened for the pistols, and Picatinny, Weaver, QR, whatever, is on the rifles and the carbines. But for the over and unders, there's not really an mounting interface that is dedicated for optic ready purpose. So if you ask me, I would love to see the first, actually there is one already, but an over and under OR. That would be so cool.
So kind of like standardized interface.
A plate, but then once again, it's some people want it closer to their eye, some want it further away. So then you would need to have 3 plates, one along the barrel. That would look stupid. On the pistol, you have a dedicated area where you can mount it due to the ejector port and weights, and a holstering. So, but if you ask me, in the future, give it 4 or 5 years, there will be over and under optic ready.
Nice.
That would be cool.
It would make sense.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would make sense not to cut the rail, but just the tiny Acro interface.
Basically, just this 47 millimeters that we need.
So if you're talking about the break open shotguns, they are also very traditionally the ones that are like engraved, and they are also like collector's items. So can you produce the red dot that will be engraved to match it, if they're gonna produce the optics ready shotgun like that?
I'm not sure if I'm probably not allowed to talk about it, but since you're asking, right above us, probably a few meters that way, there is an engraved S1, the first test. So we sent it over to Denmark to a professional engraver. And he engraved the S1 with the whole thing.
Awesome.
So might not be for
but
production.
It needs to match, you know.
Yeah, I know. So but now we've tried at least with the surface treatment and everything, it works. So maybe in the future. Maybe an EVA special.
I like that.
So if you're industry, make sure you stop by our booth at EVA. It might be there.
I will. Absolutely.
Limited edition, they always sell the most.
By the way, I want to tell the viewers who are actually watching the video, these are not the real guns we have in our labs. Those are just the plastic ones to attach the red dots.
Blue guns.
Yeah, and magnifiers from Aimpoint on top of that, so we can talk about them. Blue guns, exactly. So just to reduce the amount of comments underneath the video, like, oh, you're flagging everybody around with a gun and you're
flagging the deer over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just want to like avoid that.
Yeah, to prevent some hater screams.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So you already mentioned your hunting passion. I can really tell. So we know each other for some months, I would say. And every time I mention hunting, as I'm slowly getting there somehow, I immediately recognize your passion. I was like, yeah, we need to do this. And I was like, you were smelling like a possible hunt. Like, yeah, I'm all in. Yeah, let's do this. We'll reschedule. We'll do it.
No, for me, it's not since a child. That would be a lie. Since a teenager, but still, it's such a huge thing for me to travel around. Or could be in Skåne, the state where I live in Sweden. Could be in Europe. Could be in the world. It's just so cool. All the differences. As you know, Sweden is a very long country.
Yes.
So from here to the very north of Sweden, it takes exactly 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And down here, we would shoot ducks, pheasants, wild boar, fallow deer, red deer, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You could go 3 hours up, you will have moose, lynx, you can go further up, you're capercaillie and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So it's such a cool thing to travel around and especially exchange hunts. So the stuff some people have in the north, we don't have in the south, and so on.
Yeah.
Same thing with Europe. Go to Spain, they have some stuff in the mountain. I will actually go to Slovenia now in a few weeks to hunt a certain animal. We will invite him back. So he can hunt stuff that you don't have at home.
You will love it, man. Slovenia is so beautiful.
I received a few pictures this morning. It's something else.
Yes.
So down in the south of Sweden, everything's flat.
Yeah, they have
not-
beautiful mountains out
Not
there.
Crazy.
Slovenian like think
Crazy.
that they're not so much flat.
I talked to a friend of mine who was there last year. He said,
You will.
do a bit of exercise. because
You will
that's
feel
tough.
some Slavic hospitality in there.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm pretty sure.
And have you done any moose hunting up north?
I have not. Let me think. No, I haven't at all. I've done other hunts up north, but not the moose. But I have shot a moose. It
Okay.
would be hour and a half from here. So really, I didn't expect it. But one of my good friends, he had really, really skilled dogs. So he kind of fooled me, I think. He said it was a wild boar hunt, but I think we were actually out for moose the whole time and he wanted to surprise me.
Okay.
So, amazing animal. They're so big,
They're
makes no
huge. And
sense.
they are dangerous, right? Also.
Everything that is big is dangerous, but not.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say they're dangerous. Not if you. No.
Okay.
With their size, yes, they can kick. So I shot.
Well,
them
I've seen a couple of videos like the kicking moose, like
Exactly.
attacking guys. Of course, it's scared. So
you need to be smart, I guess. Like you don't approach anything that is lying down from behind. You need to look at them and see what's going on and see where they are. And so we shot this moose, and the dog helped us out. And the dog wanted to. I don't know why, but he wanted to go in between the legs. And
Okay.
they kind of bite in it. That's their treat for having done a good job. And of course, it started to kick. But the legs are like not meter and a half, but a meter plus.
Right.
So only the force while it was about to die, but it's a huge kick. So
Right.
you need to be smart, and you don't have to approach the animal before it's actually like out of.
So, have you ever got into like dangerous situation with hunting? And I don't mean like some other guy pointing a gun at you. I mean like being in danger of the animal.
No, we used to have dogs back in the days, hunting dogs. As dangerous would be the wrong word, but it would be interesting situations.
Okay.
So like wild boars running along your legs and so on. That I wouldn't say it's dangerous. It's not dangerous, but like if you're smart enough and you don't take stupid risks. Of course, you have had a handful of animals that have charged for me, but they were always wounded one way or the other, and we'd go in, try to finish them. You need to be smart, and probably, of course, yes, that could be a thing. But also, normally when you track down a wounded animal, you have a dog with you, either in a leash or let loose, depending on the situation. So if you have the dog loose, they will be very close to the normally wild boar. So you want to take a shot where you don't get any impact in the dog,
course,
obviously. So you need to be
right.
smart, find the right angle, approach it a certain way. You might be two guns because you want to shoot that shot or that shot. So dangerous, yes and no, but no. You try to be smart.
Nothing life-threatening for you.
I don't think so. No, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Just
That's
so
good.
far,
That's
so
good.
good.
So
So,
far,
yeah.
so good. Exactly. Well, we wish you that it's gonna continue like that
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that Aimpoint itself is presenting so much of the hunting stuff, especially with the wild boars. Every time I see Aimpoint commercial video for civilian market, I see chasing of the wild boar, and with the crazy footage of one pig,
One after another.
one after another, like guys like repeating rapidly and taking the shots.
And the guy you're talking about now is Franz Albrecht, a German
Yes,
prince.
yes.
He's probably
My idol. I love him.
There's no way to judge your talent in shooting game because it's not obvious, not a competition. You don't have a target, but he's probably the best in the world in what he's into. But to touch your topic, our president Leonard Jungfeld, many years ago, 15 plus, I would say, years ago, decided to go into a collaboration with something called Hunters Video, a Danish hunting film production company.
Oh, okay.
And they had a production. They started off a production called Wild Boar Fever. And we invested heavily in that. We've been the sole partner for optics since then. So the last
Okay.
film was made now in Spain. It was released a few weeks ago.
Okay.
But to touch on that, Aimpoint as a company has always been very open with what the optics are being used for. If you look at other brands, don't have to mention them, there's not a single ad or film ever produced by them where an animal is killed. Where
True.
Aimpoint,
I
on the
believe
other
that.
hand, is, as you said, the other way around. If you
Yeah.
type in Aimpoint on Google or YouTube, there will be best of Wild Boar Fever, best of Driven,
Yeah.
whatever. So we're very open with the products are produced to be used. Whereon you might know which company I'm talking about. They've never had a dead animal in any ad at any times, and they've been in business for close to 100 years.
Yeah, but it's gonna be more like company policy, right?
Of course.
So you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
just focused on that, and
Yeah.
you stick
And
with
we're
that.
private companies, so our owner is it's the key of our business. So it's not really something to
Yeah,
be shy
yeah,
about.
yeah.
But I'm happy to be in this company. We get to do a lot of fun stuff and experience amazing hunts and so on.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that you're so open with that, and you're not scared to show that animals that the optics are used to shoot wild boar and so on. Tell me more about Franz Albrecht.
So
He's a Bavarian prince or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's quite close to the truth.
Right.
So from my perspective, personally, everything started off as for most people in Wild Boar Fever 3.
Uh-huh.
I was a little kid, ran off to the store, bought the DVD, and watched it on, back in the days you had DVDs. And I was like, my eyes was 4 times the size was normal. Like, this is amazing. Wonder if I could ever be in one of those films. That would probably never happen, but it did. But well, I met him down in Croatia. That must be 6 years ago, give or take. Really nice guy. Such interest and really focused on being the very best at every single shot. Very keen on all the details. Like, he learned, like, okay, Alex, today we're doing the filming. We're not drinking any coffee. That will give us a shake on the hand. And I was like, really? But it kind of makes sense, because if you have too much coffee, like, you will have this. And you really want to do this really precise shots. There's no room for any wiggle on the barrel.
No
So,
distractions.
stuff like that. And really helpful. Doing, of course, hunting and doing hunting film is the same thing, but you want to take certain shots, make sure it all looks good and everything. So really good guy. I had the opportunity to hunt back at his own estate down in Germany a few years ago. And I can understand why he's such a good shot. There was a lot of animals, and Germany has an old tradition of hunting. His father was a hunter, his grandfather was a hunter, and so on. So all in all, huge respect for that guy, and he's really good shot.
I remember when I was watching his videos, I had always the same kind of feeling, like, this is amazing, unbelievable. The pigs were running so fast, and he was like shooting one after another, and not like that you shoot a pig and it keeps running. It just freezes. It's like dead on a spot. It was unbelievable to watch that.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Maybe.
It's more about the optics than him.
Of course.
Sorry.
Of course.
Nice.
No. I really, very, very inspiring for me and many other hunters. And if you haven't seen it, visitors, Google.
Yeah, Google that.
Fans Albrecht, and you will see some good shooting.
Yeah, for me.
And one more thing, is that his speed of reloading. I never knew if it's straight action or bolt action. It was just so fast.
Mainly, it has been sour 202s back in the days, and then 404.
Yeah.
No, stock products, bigger magazine. Maybe you saw the normal one is delivered 3. Some guys have the 5, but he has custom made 10. So it's like it's like a bipod without the
nice. Yeah. No, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, but imagine he had so much of the influence that he had been presented to me as a student in Czech Republic on my gunsmith school.
Really?
By our teacher. So our teacher for firearms and ammunition was playing the videos of Franz Albrecht.
But he's impacted the whole industry.
Yes.
Maybe not the whole in Europe, I would say. Mainly.
Yeah,
but
in Europe, definitely.
Looking at myself, if I open my gun class, what do you call it? Locker, my gun locker back home, open up, there's a 270, and I shoot a certain ammunition, the one he used in the film.
Okay.
That's the one I bought when I was 20. I still have it.
Obvious inspiration.
Oh yeah, you're using it a lot.
Yeah. The 270. I try to keep warm.
But imagine for our class, majority of the guys were just tactical guys, like following Chris Costa back in the day, and those kind of guys. But we all remained silent, mouth open.
That's
I was like, whoa. Even for us, I was like, this guy's got some skill.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah, and also the teacher was super impressed. I cannot tell better that the teacher was like, guys, you have to see this. He was like impressed by himself. I was like, yeah, what's this? So usually before the summer break or something, he always pulled up some funny videos, with the shooting, with some long distance shoots, and etc. And it was always so inspiring to see his performance. Yeah.
And I think we should go back to the topic of Aimpoint.
Of course.
Aimpoint is the original inventor of red dot, right?
True. So
where did the red dot come from?
So the rumor says, and I think it's true, back in 1974, an old gentleman called Arne Ekstrand woke up, went to the bathroom to shave his face, and he had a concave shaving mirror. Behind him there was a light bulb, and while moving your head, as you do while shaving your beard, he realized that the light bulb behind him didn't move while looking in this mirror with a certain shape. And sorry, but a normal person would probably move on, go to work, and that's it.
Of course.
Luckily enough, so we can sit here right now, due to him, is he realized that, wait a minute, this must mean that you can produce an optic where you can have this reflection back to your eye, and wherever that dot is will be your point of impact. Which is, that would normally be boiled down to, it's called as parallax free. So with other words, you don't need to center the dot in the optic. So he had the idea, he didn't really have the money. So he went around to a few different investors, and basically they said, thank you, Arne. Don't call us, we call you. And they never called. But along the line, he came to Gunnar Sandberg, when Gunnar had run a very, very successful business. He started off as an electrician, basically on his own with a bicycle and some tools. He did run that for multiple years. I think he sold it when they were like close to 500 employees, if I don't remember correctly. Sorry, if I don't remember wrong. And he had money on his pocket, so he was running a few other companies. He was ready to invest in new ideas. He was very keen on special ideas in the south of Sweden, in this city called Malmö. Anyways, Arne came in to Gunnar, pitched the idea. Luckily enough, Gunnar was a keen hunter, and he actually understood the product, why you want to be able to keep your focus at the target. So go back to 75. You had irons and some really, really low-end scope, as with nowadays technique or technology. So they started off with a product, and the rumor says that the actual first pitch was a roll of toilet paper, some kind of glass, and a diode. And that was the actual prototype that he brought when he asked for money. So, long story short, they registered the patent for the Aimpoint red dot sight in '75. I think it was around April or March, and that's the beginning of a soon 50-year-old long story.
Yeah, that's the case when you forget your phone while going on a toilet.
My bathroom is just
So
bored to death.
You just
You
find-
notice stuff.
you find random objects and
No,
start
but-
reading.
It's genius. It's
Yeah, it
genius
is, it
thing.
is.
Absolutely, it
Yeah.
changed the whole industry.
It's such a cool story, really.
Yeah,
But do we know if the first red dot was actually red?
At least the first one that was produced. I cannot
The
tell
first
if
produced one was did it had the red really the color? Really?
Otherwise, we wouldn't name it red dot sight.
I wonder when the name actually is. Do you say in Swedish also red dot, or you have a different word for that?
It's called rödpunktssikte. So röd is red,
okay.
punkt is dot. No, exactly the same.
Yeah,
the red
because,
dot sight.
Yeah.
because in Czech we don't use the word red. We say kollimator.
Collimator, yes.
Yeah, which doesn't implicate the color. So I
it's
was
the
thinking
technique.
like,
Gotcha.
So I'm thinking like, what was the first thing?
No, I could show you the first ad ever. It's the same
Okay.
point rödpunktssikte. So yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not the right guy to talk to, but there's something with the coating. And something they did studies on this. So for your eye, if you have to look at something for a long time and you have to have
Yes.
something in between,
The red
The
light
red
is
is
the best.
yeah,
Yes,
green you can have more in the nature, like trees and everything, grass. Purple, other stuff that is not as good. So something with the coating, you can keep it.
Yeah, and there will be definitely also difference between energy consumption
Exactly.
between the different colors.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So yes, yeah, it doesn't really help with the collimator word, but in Swedish and English, it actually is red dot is in the actual word.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that was the start of all of that. And we actually heard some stories that there are still people using the red dots from back then, like from the 70s and 80s from Aimpoint. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I received a picture from my sales rep who takes care of Sweden. This is actually cool. I don't think this have happened before for a long time. He came into this. There was the last hunting show before the season started. I think it's 3 weeks ago. So he came in with I think what's it called, Gustav, of course, the Swedish bolt action. With an Aimpoint electronic on top, which was the first product. And he said, yeah, this works, but it started to get a bit blurry and so on. It's soon 50 years old. So he actually bought the Acro C2. So he went from the very oldest one to the newest one, and we have a picture with him with the old one and the new one and the rifle on his... the new one is mounted and the old one is like this.
Nice.
So we need to do something with that picture. That was really cool to see.
Yeah.
And he was like, he didn't even go to any of the other. There were Zeiss, Swarovski, Leica. He just went straight to Aimpoint. So he's probably a big fan of us.
Nice.
Yeah. And did you guys had to make him to choose the C1?
I wasn't there. It was the C2,
the
but I
C2,
wasn't
sorry.
there. I think I probably thought it was pretty cool as well to go from the oldest to the newest. But it's a good product. You have the touch buttons. Some people like that. The micro has the rotary switch.
I see.
So it's down to what you like.
The reason why I'm asking is the fact that the older guys then they usually want to stick with that exact product they used for ages.
I hear you. I would have guessed that he should go from 9000, which is close to the M3 series, where you have the switch and the battery and it's bigger. But I guess the sales rep who sold this site, he likes the Acro very much.
Let's say he's a sales rep, right?
Yeah, but I think it pushed him into that corner. So yeah, you can just, when we're on that topic, with the Carl Gustav, you have the open receiver on the bolt action. So when you place something only on the front post, on the front mount, you have the receiver fully open. So it's so much easier to reload and unload and doing all that stuff. So we really try to push people to only use the front base if possible.
Of course.
Because it's so much nicer. Where the old one had not had to, but it was built to be used on
Right.
2 because that was how they did it back in the days.
Yes.
Because it would need to be longer.
And it was a big optics compared
absolutely.
to the Acro.
Yeah.
I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there are quite a few examples in the history that someone invents something which actually works, but they eventually run out of business, or someone takes their idea and make it their own way, and they lose the business or something like that. So why do you think that Aimpoint is like the one who invented the red dot and is still one of the leadest companies making red dots? What's the magic behind that?
Good question, and I think the straight answer is Gunnar Sandberg, the
Okay.
one who invested in the company, because Aimpoint started off, and while we're here today with this super nice headquarters and we're doing very well, it was not always like that. Aimpoint was super small. Keep in mind, I was not even born. Barely my father was born back in 75, but I think Aimpoint was in business for minimum 15 years, maybe even 20, before they even like had any proper sales. The rumor says that there was this one employee who was building sites, and obviously had a Volvo because we were in Sweden. So he built as many sites he could fit into his Volvo, starting in Malmö, driving north. When the car was empty, 180
Went back.
degrees, back to Malmö, built a new batch, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is as far as I know, and I think it's true. He kept on going like that, and then of course a few warranties and so on, and we learned how to build a better product.
Yeah.
The first product wasn't bad, but the battery lifetime was, of course, very limited. We had also the searing was kind of in the mount rather than in the site. So we could evolve. Second generation was internal searing, so to say. Then with the 3000, the electronics got better, and then the 5000, made the lenses better. We moved from 1-inch tube to 30mm tube, and so on and so forth. But why we're still here is because of Gunnar. He kept on putting money into the company because he was running other businesses on the side that were more successful at the time. Looking at Sandberg Development Group, as it's called today, Aimpoint is the biggest company at the moment. But we do have a few other companies under that umbrella company that are also very successful. But as of now, Aimpoint has a very good journey, and it looks great ahead as well.
Yeah.
So it's a guy with a vision that actually pushed the whole concept.
They wrote a book about him, and I think actually it was called "The Man with a Vision." So he invested in multiple different companies, and the idea, to boil it down very easily, was to have you should be best in a niche product. So if you look at optics or sport optics, it's normally scopes, right? Magnifying scopes, but he once again took a product and made it his own. This time it was the red dot side. On the other side of the street, we have a company that make dishwashers, but instead of the one that you use, this like tablet thing that you use at home, they use small plastic pellets and high pressure with water, so it's more environmental friendly, blah, 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 whatever. But once again, they took a product and made it the niche product. So the word you used, yes, you had huge visions, and we wanted to have a touch on it and keep it Swedish. So basically all of the companies are based in Sweden, as far as I can think of right now, and in the south of Sweden. So really, really cool company to work for, together with the whole holding group, so to say.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So the Aimpoint optics generally are known for the typical tube design. So it's a completely closed system with 2 lenses extra to have some additional protection. What is the idea, and what's the major or the biggest benefit of that?
So, good question. We started off with having hunting as the core of our business. Then actually, this is kind of have been forgotten along the line, but we focused a lot on sport shooting, especially with the handgun in the open division. And as far as I've been told, everything broke. No matter if it was Aimpoint or any of the other manufacturers of similar sites, but everything broke because they had a lot of kick and they shot so much more than a hunter ever could do. A pistol magazine lasts for a few seconds.
It's a major power factor.
If you shoot a match. So they managed to destroy any product that we did. but we tried to make it better. And when we started to get the military tenders, we were ahead of anyone in terms of quality. And I wasn't even born, but I guess they figured out it has to look like this. We need additional lenses. If we have an open system, the diode is exposed to dust and dirt, water, whatever. So it has to have the two protective lenses with the actual lens that runs in the optic. And we've been doing sites for soon 50 years, and we've never done an open site. If we will, who knows? But not as of today, because we stay with what we're thinking. And I've been working with for Aimpoint for 10 years in a few days. And Bleinert, our president, I asked him. I was young, and I was kind of, well, can I really ask this question? I said, why don't we do an open product? Because that will be easier, cheaper, and we can sell more. And especially we can sell to certain customer. And he was like, no, we should focus on what we do, and we should be the best in the world. And that would go into also thermal, night vision, all those additional products that we could have done with the Aimpoint brand. Not happening. It's red dot sights, and that's it. We've done like one batch of scopes back in, I think it was the 80s. It was not very good. It was brand labeled, so it was really not something we should do. And all stuff like, you're in the industry. There's so much things we could have done. Iron sights, small things like we do flip up covers and mounts. That's it. Otherwise, we focus on what we're good at.
Yeah. So is it that you wanna like a focus on the never-ending development, or you just want to keep it simple, or both?
Good question. I would say both. Of course, we want to look at other products and see what we can do, but as of now, the production is full. We have a very full order book, so as of now, we need to focus at make the best optics, and of course, looking at the follow-up generations for what we have.
Yeah, of course, one of the biggest challenges will be definitely keep up the serial production in the highest quality possible. The
quality aspect of it is, of course, a big thing. It can be mentioned. We've had when I started, we have single source on many things. Now I know for the housings we have 4 different sources.
Okay.
And if you have the housing from one and the inner tube from one, we need to make sure they talk to each other, if you use that term. So really, that's the purchasing department or the supply part is a huge thing, and then quality control. Quality. If we have bad stuff in, we'll get bad stuff out, and that is not on the map. We need to have the very best product. Now we've been only touching, of course, the hunting and sport shooting, but we know we have the SF guys, the army, the policemen. Same thing for you guys. When you produce something where someone goes to work, risk their life, they rely on us. So we can't really we need to be best at what we do.
Yeah, that's the...
So in order to achieve that, you mentioned that in the past with a sporting shooting, it was pretty easy to destroy the red dot with the huge load of rounds being fired.
The old school open pistols.
Yeah. So what sort of testing you have to do on your red dots to be sure that it's going to withstand the abusive behavior of the customer? Or
so nowadays the industry is more developed. So you have mil-spec standards, and you have so we have, of course, internal tests. But if you look at the tender part of sales, you normally receive a list of what has to be in there, and that's basically what we do. But then we test so I think we have 10, maybe 15 employees that only do tests. Whether it's shock or temperature or submersibility or chemicals, or that could be anything. So there's test reports for basically anything on any product. Whatever you look for, there's in the archive. There's anything.
So because we spent the whole day here at the Aimpoint, and we've seen quite a few stuff, and I was actually amazed what test you're doing. So you said like the shock test. So because of course the pistol red dot is on a slide which is moving in a rapid.
Yeah. So you simulate recoil.
Yeah.
So that would be the most of it. But then at certain point, simulation. So we've done tests with just shooting 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson and whatnot, and just shooting, and try to break it. But at a certain point, when we've done 10th of thousands of rounds, that's it. We've passed the test.
Not the MO.
So it sounds fun, and it is kind of fun, but it gets really, when you've done 10,000 rounds, you've probably been through it. It's pretty rough on you, both with the noise and you're dirty and you're smelly and everything.
Right. Yeah.
But
and it hurts.
It hurts. It does. It does. But yeah, we can simulate basically anything, like flying out, jumping out from an airplane, down to deep water, up in the jungle, something like that. So it's all testing.
Yeah,
I was also surprised that with submersibility, it's not like that you just put it in a tank and you simulate the pressure of the product being in like 30 meters underneath the water, but that you change the depth. Or the simulated depth, to stress it. So you go into 30 meters, then you go back to 5, then you get to 20, and you change that in order to really try to break the thing.
We need to make sure it can. We don't know if we produce a site, it might end up in a hunter's locker over here in Malmö or on the other side of the world. It can be any temperature in between -40 to plus whatever. Yeah. So that applies to all manufacturers, of course. But we really test this as hard as we can think of, and so far so good.
Nice.
The thing is that the specific weather which might be taken as extreme is considered normal in a specific zone, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We are fortunate enough that we have seen some places in the world, and something what you consider totally extreme, it's normal. It's everyday.
Yeah, whether it's hot or cold or wet or like, anything.
Yeah,
in
we
between.
just have constantly 50 degrees Celsius.
Lovely.
It's normal weather in here. I was like, what? And the humidity and everything. Well, being at the tour, I've heard, and I want you to confirm that to this podcast. I've heard that with the Acro testing, you guys did 20,000 of the repetitions with that device, doing
the shock machine.
Simulation. The shock machine, the simulation of the recoil, and then after those tests, you took it and mounted to the actual pistol and shot another tens of thousands rounds out of it. Is this true?
Yeah, I was about to stop you when you were talking, but I thought you were saying we did it on the shock machine, but we did it on the shock machine, and then we added it was 20,000 rounds. So I have a picture on my phone. So there's a pile of brass, and then there's a pistol on top and the optic, and it worked. But then we went home for a long, good nights of sleep, because that was something.
Well, this is really something, because it really seems to me that you guys always go like way beyond
the extra mile. Yeah. But the Acro is such an important product for us. We've really invested a lot in it, and it will be a big part of Aimpoint looking forward. And the cool thing with it is that it's such a multi-platform optic. So looking at my sales, of course, on the hunting rifle, it's pretty straightforward. We focus a lot of mounts. So whether you have a Mauser 03, whatever it's called, that has a special interface, Blaser, Sauer, Socko, and so on and so forth, we still the same optic, of course, but it needs so many mounting platforms. Moving on, the pistols, there's 25, 30, maybe 50 different plates. The majority would be a handful, but still you need to cover those. Moving on, we have the 45 degree. You have the piggyback, whether it's spur or the external ring. And then, of course, all the Picatinny stuff, 22 millimeters, 30, 39, 45, and so on and so on. So the optic is really, really cool. And as I said, we do custom stuff as well. So we have like the Krieghoff and Merkel stuff, the double rifles. You can do we've started to do kind of it's kind of an optic ready solution. But so there's an interface where you normally do the Schwenkmontage. If you know it, that little thing. You can actually remove that and replace it with Acro interface. So it is actually an optic ready double action. It's so cool, and it's basically on top of the barrels, just a few millimeters over. So me and my team invest a lot of time into mounts, because that's really where you can really see the difference, where Aimpoint is located in Europe, where many of our competitors are located over in the States or elsewhere. So we know basically every single rifle that is being used for hunting, where in the US I would, without knowing, but I'm quite confident that 95% is Picatinny. and that anyone can figure out the Picatinny mount. So we really work a lot with making sure, and not only you can have a mount, we want a QD as well, so quick detach. So when you go hunting, you have an open field, or you might be in the woods, you should be able to swap in between your scope and your red dot and keep the 0. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work.
Of course. You guys mentioned, or you specifically mentioned that you guys are focusing just on the red dots, but taking or having a look on such a amount of accessories, it's a lot of work behind it. Even the spacers, the quick detachment mounts,
magnifiers,
the regular mounts. It seems like a wide range of and also the hunting rifle mounts. That's like lots of machining and lots of work involved in that. So it seems like it seems like a complicated. For me as a technician, it seems like a pain in the ass. Having the need to cover the whole range of the mounts.
That's partly true. We would cover the most common platforms. So, for example, we do have Lupul QR, Blaser, Sauer 404, Tika. Those are probably the big players within hunting rifles. That has an special solution. So if you have Weaver, Picatinny, you're good to go with anything. Then we would rely heavily on third-party manufacturers as well. So especially around Germany, you have a lot of manufacturers like Recknagel, Henneberger, and so on and so on. So I wouldn't say that we do all of them, but we work very closely to make sure that if someone calls us, have rifle X, we can point them in this direction, they can find mount that they need. So, but it's a lot of work, even if we don't keep everything on stock, because we might not to be big, but like for us, that may really make sense to have everything on stock when someone else can have it, and they can produce and sell it to their customers.
If you had to pick just one product, which red dot would it be?
Actually, it's quite easy, because the Acro has so many mounting platforms. I can run it on my handgun, my rifles, my bolt actions, my carbine, my anything. So, yeah, Acro, any day.
Yeah, which variant? The civilian one or the
C2, because it's my product.
Of course.
I would really. C2, P2, both of them are great products, but if we boil it down to really what it is, it's the commercial product would have less night vision settings, and they're kind of built by the same person with the same components, but we don't test them as hard.
I see.
So they're both similar products, but we can promise for a fact that you can take the P2 down to a certain depth. Sorry, I don't know the specs because I don't work that much with the product. But certain temperature span, it has more night vision settings because that is more applicable on the professional market.
Of course.
And so on. So for myself, I can hunt and do all the shooting I want with a C2. I don't do night vision stuff really. So for me, it's the better product.
If I remember right, it was usually it was like minus 25 meters with the submersibility, and the temperature range was like minus 45 up to plus 71.
That makes sense.
Something like that.
I think they actually go deeper, but
yes, 35 even.
Yes. 35. Okay. I just wanted to mention that I'm big fan of Acro myself. Right now I'm actually getting the special mount done for my VZ58 to be able to put an Acro on that. That's going to be awesome.
It's actually very weird, but
no, you hate it, but I love it.
He's nerd.
And it's I'm definitely gonna post it everywhere when it's done.
Of course.
So everybody's gonna see that, and everybody's gonna want that.
Of course.
And the second thing I wanted to say is that I really like the interface that's built in Acro, because we both were thinking about getting our CZ75s milled for the Acro, because it's such a compact mounting system on the Acro that you can, with a little bit of milling, can attach it to the light of pistol like CZ75, even though it has the firing pin blockation,
of course,
which usually limits the thing.
Yeah.
So very versatile thing.
I can't say we were lucky. Of course, we spent a lot of effort and thinking into the interface, but it ended up being really, really smart and good. Most of the others would have screws from the top down to the slide.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no need for that with Acro.
No, because it's just easier. We have the battery on the side, so you can take it on and off at all times. You will keep your zero, so on and so forth. The product's really thought through. I would say it's the best on the market, but maybe
no one would believe you, I know, because you work for Aimpoint.
But no, I think it's a really, really cool product. And as you said,
no, I love it.
Touching on pistol sales and so on, looking at it, it's only, is it 7-8 years ago? Really, the first pistol mounted optics and the optic ready cuts were on the market.
Yeah.
And as you said, we're already moving out from the optic ready cuts because more people looking into direct mill to get rid of one source of failure. So I don't know where we will end up, but of course, if you can get rid of the plate and you've chosen your interface, the direct mill is always better.
Yeah, of course. The reason why I like the closed red dot like this is that I have my own experience, of course.
Mm.
So I have a hard lesson learned. So imagine I'm on a competition, very last stage of the day. I'm doing well. I'm happy with the performance so far. And it's snowing. It's a winter time. It's an off-season match, but it's important for me, as always. And then there's that quick, very quick timing situation, timing stage. So we have some 3 or 4 poppers, all activating moving targets, and timing is very crucial, very important for the final time and also for the hits. So it's snowing quite heavily, and I'm running my open sight, right? I'm making sure that it's covered. I'm making sure that I put my hand above.
I always laugh at those guys when I'm at the range.
Of course. So before the RO tells load and make ready, I make sure that I prepare myself properly. I will do the final check of the optic. I will do adjustment on the brightness. I will make myself ready. There's a few following seconds before they make the beep, and in those seconds, the snowflake landed right on the diode.
Lovely.
Right on that. So there's a beep. I'm super confident doing the presentation, and then I see 2,000 dots.
Perfect.
And I'm like, well, and there's a story, going on in my head. It's like, all right, so I need to follow the plan. So I need to guess where the dot would be. So I was lucky hitting the first plate. I did some makeup shot on the second one. Bang, 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 bang. I ended up with few deltas, but the amount of disappointment, I was like, so it's the worst case scenario. So you're feeling confident. You're on a mental game. You're right in. You are dialed in, and you just need the product to work. And then there is a technical aspect. Once nice snowflake landed on the diode, and you are screwed. So I would be able probably to gain more hits, obviously, but the disappointment from and the reaction time. Frustration.
But it's interesting. You said, of course, anyone that would understand that the bigger glass make you see the dots quicker. That kind of makes sense. But I was down in Greece now for the European handgun shoot, and we have a few sponsored shooters and a few shooters that obviously shoot our optics as well.
Yep.
And what they said, and I want to be honest enough, that I shoot the handgun, I shoot IPSC, but at a very low level. Getting there, but that will you give me a few years and we'll probably see you somewhere in the match.
Okay.
Try to beat you. But now at this point I listen and try to learn. So what they said, when you have the 4 corners, so to say, of the housing, if you end up not seeing the dot directly, you will, wherever you see more of the housing, you go the other way and you will find a red dot instantly. So I get that makes sense, because you have more to kind of, as a reference point, you know where you need to push the product. So yeah, I try to listen and learn, and when I do my dry fire, I kind of can see what they mean with that.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell, but with the red dot specifically mounted on a pistol, it requires some training.
Yes.
So every time we talk to the guys, or to the customers, or to the friends, asking and following the trend, like, hey, should I get a like red dot on my pistol? It's like, for sure, man. But you need to work for that. You need to earn that privilege to run the optic. Yes. So
anything that is new, whether you have a new car or a new, I don't know what, you need to get used to it. And of course, how the angle of your hand will change, and
the actual
the index,
the presentation has to change, the attitude, the awareness has to change, and you need to be aware of the few points. But what I always say is that red dot won't make you a better shooter.
For sure.
It will make you more confident.
Yeah.
It will make your shooting more comfortable because you can focus on a target.
Yes.
You don't have to refocus front side target or rear side or double check there is a perfect side picture aligned. But you need to work hard to get there.
Yeah.
You need to drive far. You need to make sure that you do some repetitions, that you go to the shooting range. Once you are there, it's so confident, and it's fun. It's just fun.
And it depends on, of course, where you are. As a competitive shooter, you're obviously good at what you do. On the other hand, you might have a police officer.
Of course.
They start out at the very, very beginning, not learn how to handle a pistol and so on. And in Sweden, we've just changed from SIG over to Glock. And they've done a lot of testing. Not the big police units did not go with optics yet, but they've done a lot of testing, and we've been able to see some of their studies. And the learning curve is second to none, really. Whenever they get the red dot on their pistols, it's so much easier to instruct. Honestly speaking, instructing with the irons, it's kind of strange. You need to look here and there, and it has to be a certain angle this way and that way and up and down. You need to look at the target, not at the target. So with the red dot, you look at target, point and shoot. That's it.
It's so easy. It's so easy when I'm with people at the shooting range. Explaining them the way how you aim with the iron sights is so much more difficult than with the red dot. You just give it to them in the hands and ask, like, do you see the red dot?
Go. Press the trigger.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
Where's the dot? There's gonna be a hole. Go for that.
Yeah, and then the rest is trigger.
Bang, low left. Bang, low left. They're like, there's a trigger work involved.
But if you look at, we had a Swedish championship in IPSC handgun, and I know at least Sweden and Denmark, the pistol optics is the biggest division. And I think we are the first to move over any the others, like standard or production.
Okay.
Not sure if you have the statistics for your own market, but I know Sweden, the biggest division was production optics. So
the production optics or the optic ready pistols is number 1 in the US, and that's the leading market.
Okay.
There is no doubt about it. So if you take a look in the USPSA data, number 1 by far. The European continent, it's more conservative in those respects, so we still have a production as a number 1. There is, I believe, open. I'm not sure. So if there is someone who has a more precise answer, please give us that pleasure and add some comment below this episode. But we are getting there.
And if you buy a new pistol now, it doesn't add many euros or whatever currency you have to get the pistol. Yes. I mean, if you have a nice gun, you've spent your, I don't know, $3,000 on a pistol, and you need to spend another $3,000,
of course,
just to get a small cut. I can understand that kind of hurts you, or you do the direct mill. But as soon as people will change over, I think optics will be bigger and bigger.
Of course, the thing is that the market with the red dot has become much more accessible.
Yeah.
Speaking of the price, speaking of the quality of the product, by far, everyone remember the time when the red dots were kind of fancy and some kind of like
super expensive.
Yeah, super expensive, fancy and kind of nerdy stuff. Like, look at that guy, like some kind of space technology, right, over there. I'm sure you won't finish the match with that, right? It dies off or it fall off of the.
That's not too many years ago, to be honest.
Yes, it's not far away.
It's crazy,
but it has changed rapidly. Now we have solid products, good price points, and accessible to the people, so people can buy and really consider buying a pistol. Same with the red dot in the same time. So it has changed a lot. So it's getting to the Europe more and more, and we are probably likely to see more competitive shooters with red dots mounted, same as the police or law enforcement or military units.
Yeah, and just look back 3-4 years, we received so many emails asking about holsters that were competitive with red dot, compatible. Sorry,
Yes,
compatible
yes.
with red dots. That haven't happened. I don't think we have received a single email regarding that topic for 2 years, because it's just like that, and it was on the
It's
market.
out there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking that the Acro is very versatile and multi-purpose red dot, but can we expect the dedicated sport shooting red dot from Aimpoint?
You have it already. It's Acro.
Yeah, that's why I started this question.
We touched on this topic.
But do you think you want to do something focused only for sport shooting? Not so versatile thing.
So let's give you two answers then.
Please.
I'll give you 2 answers. First of all, I have a hard time to see that we'll ever do an open product.
Okay.
But on the other hand, maybe we can figure out to do the very best sport optics with 2 lenses. That's honestly speaking the best of 2 worlds, because
It doesn't have to be open.
exactly as I said, we just need to figure out if it has to have an angle, like a tube kind of thing, or whatever. But of course, we always work on new products, and as you know, we do product tests. We can test the product for years and years. And mainly, Aimpoint might not be the first on the market, but when we reach the market, we're supposed to be best. That's just the way it is. So my answer would be, it might already working on it, we might not be, but we test a lot of products, and then we will always try to push. We always push.
All right.
Looking forward.
I'm disappointed with the answer, but
I'm not.
You have the Acro, so
Yeah,
go with
I
that
love my Acro. Another thing that's being discussed a lot, for example, the CZ Shadow 2 compact has been released recently, and in order to place a red dot, you need to remove the rear iron sights. So you get rid of the iron sights. A lot of people are complaining about that because they want to keep the iron sights on pistol, on a rifle, just in case the red dot won't work, breaks down, or I don't know, the battery dies. So what can you add to this topics the people
question,
are
man.
so scared of?
So right now we're in Sweden, where if you have a pistol, you're a sport shooter. That's the way it is. I know for a fact that you guys can have concealed carry, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So that kind of changes my answer. And honestly speaking, I don't have that knowledge. I don't really want to touch the topic. If you ask me, the Aimpoint product will be able to support you at any point, 100%. But of course, I can understand if you want backup irons. But that goes on any brand, and I'm not really sure. I would return the question to you guys. Would you only go with the red dot no matter the brand, or you would would like to have the irons just for the fact that it's always there?
Lucas, do you want to answer?
of course.
I mean, I guess it's quite tricky.
Of course, I want to answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the thing is, for a concealed carry, it's always better to have a backup. You never know. So that's the case with the rifles, right? We already discussed it, I believe, with the Polar guys, talking about it can be. But the thing is, look at the history of the rifle red dots. It's also, you guys are involved, right?
Yeah.
You guys have been the first. We all remember those pictures from M4s equipped with the very first Aimpoints. I'm not sure which model, but
yeah. So okay, that's a good way to point. I mean, nowadays on the carbines, you would have foldable irons, so they're there, but they're not there.
Yes,
and that's kind of hard to figure
and
out.
It's still part of the deal. And so the thing I want to share is, once you are a soldier, your main tool to operate is assault rifle. Right, then we have different, different platforms whatsoever. But once you are a police officer, law enforcement, your main, force is the pistol. That's a completely different story. So in this case, it's always better to have a backup. You can destroy the optic terribly. You can fall. You can have a car accident.
You would normally have a full frame pistol. On the other hand,
that's correct. But for me, taking the pistol as a self-defense option or law enforcement tool, it's always better to have a backup just in case. You never know.
That makes
just
sense.
in case. Just a co-witness solution, and you never know. You can use it. You might not. Who knows? But for sport, different story. Then you can actually the fiber optic front sight will be definitely disturbance for you.
That's the first thing I will remove when I receive my.
Just cut it off, and
Absolutely.
just kick it out, or hammer it out, because that's a disturbance. You don't want to see two dots.
No.
It's just so much of the disturbance. So in a competition pistol, you can be more prepared, and you care more about the pistol. You have those fancy covers, the textile covers for your pistol. So once you finish your stage, you always double check. You have you have the option to check the red dot before you start the actual stage.
That doesn't really happen if you're
and
a
then you
police officer.
spend very few seconds on a stage. So that's a different story.
Yeah.
So for self-defense, military or law enforcement applications, for sure. For competition, I can live with that.
I want to add to that. I don't 100% agree with that, because you need to take under consideration the evolvement of the red dots in the past. Like now with Acro, I think it's 5,000 hours.
50.
Oh yeah, 50. Sorry,
50.
50,000 hours of a lifetime. So that's basically what, 5 years?
5 years continuous. So
Yeah, if on a 7th setting.
6 out of 10.
I think, yeah. So it's a 5 years it's on. So if you don't if you think about it, and you schedule, for example, changing the battery just to be on a safe side every 3 years, you shouldn't get in trouble at all. And what happens if you have a red dot on a gun, and for some reason it doesn't work, because I don't know, you put a wrong battery there, or you left it there for 5 and more years, and then you pull it out of the holster, aim at something, you don't see the dot, and you freeze. Even if you have the iron sights there, you're just searching for the dot for
that's true.
solid 2 seconds.
That is
no
true.
No one switches for iron sights that fast.
I really thank you for adding that, because I've seen it multiple times and did it myself multiple times. So you always search for that dot. So you will do the transition to the irons immediately. It's just there, and you will freeze for significant seconds until you realize it's probably not there. I should switch it. Where are the fucking front sides?
So if you're using red dot, just switch the battery often enough so you don't run into this kind of trouble.
Yeah, make sure you use the quality batteries.
Yes.
That's the number one. So imagine it's like putting in tires on your car. Imagine buying a very nice and fast car, and then let's save some money on the tires. That sounds like a good idea. Let's buy some Chinese crap on my Ferrari. It's gonna be serving me well, right? The other thing is that I very often switch the brightness on my Acro, on my everyday carry, because I want to make sure that the brightness is right on a spot. Depends on the light conditions. So once I have a chance to inspect, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm preparing. I'm leaving my home. I'm leaving my office. Whatever. Once you have a chance to inspect. And do
Quick and easy, right?
Yeah, and just do adjustment and make sure you are all comfortable. Make sure you dry fire a little bit. Yeah, it's there. It's fine. We're all good to go. It's always helping. But in this case, you can find yourself in the summertime, and we have a very long days at that time, and you can find yourself using your Acro with high brightness for days, because then you forget it. You are tired. You are going back home after a long day spent at work or whatever, and then you just place it back to your safe, lock it down, and it's on a highest brightness. Might be not. So that's why but probably Carl mentioned, just make sure you change it every here and then. It's just few crowns, few dollars, right, for the battery. and you'll be covered.
Yeah. True.
So
Okay.
yeah,
You want to ask something?
of course.
Go for it. Go for it.
There's always something to ask. So you have chosen the Acro as the ultimate choice. I'm super curious about the future products. I cannot help myself, but I really need that competition special, and I really need some more. But all right, I won't be making it hard or even harder for you.
If let's do like this, we look at the industry in general. It's kind of easy to figure out where we are putting our R&D hours at the moment.
Yeah.
Pistol market is huge.
Of course.
So I think you can. We will see future products, but I'm not saying when or where. But that of course, that's where everybody is focusing.
We're sure it's happening because we've seen your facility, and there's a lots of guys in white coats.
Yes. Yeah, we're building a huge new facility on the other side of the road, so we can.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Aimpoint here in Malmö is expanding. Can you tell us more?
Yes. So yeah, let's try to make this not too tricky. But I've been in this office for the first, let's say, 5 years. At Jägersilsgatan 17, I think it says. Then we moved over to the other side of the road. We managed to buy that facility while they were rebuilding this one. And I think it took 2 years. And now it's very nice. We have a very, very nice headquarters. And then once we moved over, they decided to. So, long story short, once again, the owner talked to all the employees and said, we're not ever rebuilding a facility that is already there. Because from the standards from the 70s down to wherever we're at now, there's so much with the fiber, ventilation, electricity, all that stuff that is just too tricky to figure out in an old house. So it's cheaper, quicker, and all that stuff to just take it down, sort it out piece by piece, aluminum and what's on, glass. And so now, as you could see, they just stopped building the house a few hours ago. They were basically working around the clock to make this huge 3-story building that can hold all the employees for future projects, and a very, very interesting future ahead for Aimpoint.
So it's going to be not just offices, but also the
production line. Yes.
Is there going to be a shooting range?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hopefully, I would say. I would change my answer to hopefully.
Hopefully we will come in a couple of years back and we'll go for some shooting.
All right.
So, okay, you're expanding your facility here in Sweden. Are there also any plans about expanding it beyond Sweden, somewhere abroad? Because that's what companies do. They expand, they set up facilities in countries like India, China, Taiwan. I don't.
Do you want to guess on the answer?
No.
No. So the owner still. So I can touch that topic as well. The founder Gunnar, his son Per, is running the company now. His 3 sons, and 2 of them are still studying. One is going around in the different businesses, trying to learn the different skills of different industries. So he's right now in game, the simulator, the VR simulator. He will move on in a few months to another company to learn and so on. So no. They've invested they've invested 2.5 worth of generation running the family business here in Malmö, and that will stay like that.
Yeah.
Should be mentioned though, we actually doubled the size. We do have 2 production plants, one in Malmö and one in Gällivare. Gällivare is in the north of Sweden. If we start driving now, we will arrive in 22 hours. It's far north. They will double their facilities. So they actually simultaneously, as we were building here, they will build 2 times as much as they already have. And that one was opened so they rented for many, many years, then they bought their own. I think, honestly speaking, I think it was less than 2 years ago they opened it, and there was like so much space, and now they will double the production. So we have a very, very interesting future ahead, and lots of projects and lots of opportunities.
Yeah, that will be cool to see you around. Well,
I have 2 more questions.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'll keep this one for you, and I'll ask this one.
Oh, cool. Cool. Thank you.
So, 2 MOA, 4 MOA, or 6 MOA?
Yes.
Yes.
All of them. All of them.
Bring it.
Buy 3 separate dots, right?
So, once again, I'm on the commercial sales.
Okay.
So this,
Just to clarify for the people that are listening, we are talking about the size of the dot in the red dot.
MOA is minute of angle.
Yeah.
So if it's 1 inch at 100 meters is 1 MOA. Yeah. So just to make some calculation, 2 MOA, 100 meters, 6 centimeters. If it's 4, you double it, so that would be 12, and so on. So on the commercial sales, we do have the H2, the micro H2, in 2, 4, and 6 MOA. So that's the only product where you can get the 3 dot sizes in the same housing. So that should be mentioned. Depends. If you, just generally speaking, we would say 2 MOA is, if you would ask me 2 years ago, I think 95% were 2 MOA sales. Obviously, with the Acro being 3.5, that has changed dramatically. So I would say, I think this year actually Acro sales will outgrow the micro for the first time. So while we launched the Acro, we opened up for 3 MOA to be kind of common again, and people like it so much more because it's rounder. The bigger dot you have, the rounder it will be.
Yes.
We're getting older, all of us, every day, of course. So if you have a dot that is not perfectly round, you might want to look into having a bigger dot. But just looking at them, normally we would say for normal hunting, long range shooting, or like 100 meters, 100 meters plus, 2 MOA. Anything in between, or if you have kind of not as good eyesight, 4 MOA. And then the really quick stuff like IPSC shotgun, shooting the S1 is also with a 6 MOA, so like shooting your in the sky, you're over and under, whatever. That would be on the 6 MOA. But on the other hand, all the professional products are only 2 MOA solely, whether it's PRO, Duty, T2, M5, M4.
Of course.
All of those are 2 MOA. So we sell hundreds of thousands of those. So it's not a problem. But on the commercial side, if you're looking at the H2 product, you can pick and choose what you're wanting to do, kind of customize for your eye. Yeah. So, but MOA or MOA has been a much, much hotter topic the last 2 years since 3.5 was entered into the market.
The thing is that you can always replace the size of the dot with the brightness.
In a sense,
because I come from the, rifle, IPSC rifle shooting background. I always appreciate. I rather choose smaller than bigger, even for a pistol or SMG. But I usually replace the size with the brightness. So I will make sure that I will add, 1 point more on the brightness, and then I will achieve the desired.
So what we normally would say, no matter the dot size, is you should be able to see the red dot without looking for it. Exactly. So whatever you have presented in front of you, whether it's clays or targets or game, whatever, you should be able to look at it 100% and not, so to say, go back with your focus. It has to be there. Otherwise, it's too dim.
Yeah. We can name the biggest requirements for the red dot. Every time someone asks me what the perfect red dot should look like, I always say needs to be robust, functional, always on.
Yeah,
that's a big request. It has to have a sharp dot.
Yep.
It needs to catch your eye, so wide variety of the brightness, and it needs to hold 0.
That helps.
And there is one additional which can be discussed, but that's exact and precise clicks.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, that helps. That helps.
Yeah,
but you usually save your time for zeroing, and you will make sure that it's perfect. So that can be discussed. All right. Very last question from us. We won't be consuming your time anymore. That's very, very typical for us. You are going to the desert island, and you have only 2 options. So you can, and it's actually very nice from us. You can take 2. you can take 2 firearms with you, long and short, like a pistol and a rifle. What would you take?
And in your case, they both can have red dots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Sweden. As I said, my pistol shooting is it's kind of a long journey in Sweden to have a pistol. So I started in February. I will receive my pistol in February as of 2024. But I have placed an order for a Shadow 2 optic ready, of course. So once hopefully I go to this island later than February, please help me. So March,
well, we allow it.
Thank you. So then I would take my Shadow 2 with Acro on top. And for the long range stuff, I need to take my Blaser R93 270 suppressed with a Swarovski 2.3 to 18 spur mount with Acro as a piggyback. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. What caliber?
270 Winchester.
270.
Okay.
Don't care about ballistics, just
Laser beam.
that's what we were saying.
Fed with Hornady SST.
Laser beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, so you don't wanna you don't wanna be deer living on a desert island. All right.
And yourself, 50 cal straight away.
Actually, that's a good question.
Oh shit.
That's a tricky one. Yeah, shots fired. Shots fired. Yeah. So we did that on a Czech podcast. On a Czech, one of our episodes in Czech language, but all right, it's.
I don't remember what I choose.
You got me there. I'm gonna stick with the AR-15.
Ah,
I'll pick my AR-15.
you said long range or just long rifle? Sorry,
Long rifle.
Okay,
Long
but then I
rifle.
have long range. So if people attacking me, I can keep them away with my.
Well, you don't know what's
If
on
you're laser
desert
beam.
island. There's gonna be anything. So it's like the most universal thing you need to choose. You know.
Yeah. But in both cases, I'm gonna stick with semi-autos. I just I trust them with my life.
That makes sense.
So that's gonna be AR-15, with some quality red dot on it. Well, yeah, and I don't need some fancy furniture on that. So just good stuff, some Magpul furniture, basic stuff, good red dot on it. And for the pistol, I will
Don't be so general. Like be more specific. Like would it be AR-15 you own?
Of course.
Or you would have to build one for desert island.
I don't care. Generally, AR-15 has proven itself as a good platform, so I just trust it. There are brands here and there, but I can be I'm patriot obviously, so I would stick with my VAR in 223. Probably I fell in love with 16-inch, so I would do 16-inch.
That's what she said.
I didn't even think of semi-auto since I don't have one, but that makes sense.
Yeah, M-Lock handguard, Magpul stock and a grip, and probably I would go with the Micro T2
Flashlight.
Of course, flashlight.
Oh yeah.
Rather Streamlight or Surefire Scout, one of those. Depends if we include the budget. That's a different topic, right? They would probably I would probably stick with Acro instead of T2. But for the pistol, I would probably stick with the P10C or P10F.
Seems like it makes more sense than bringing a Shadow 2. I'm not sure why.
No, yeah, it does.
On an island.
Yeah, it's heavy to carry all around the island, right?
You want to look cool as well, though.
Yeah,
true.
Mine will be Cerakoted and everything.
Yeah, but once you want to climb the coconut tree, it's
he'll just precisely shoot the coconut down from the tree.
That's true. But you want to save your bullets, right?
Right.
Yeah, for something more.
I would definitely go with my P10S. I just love that thing.
I don't get it, man.
I love that
why?
thing. I just love it. It's like too good for me even. No, I love it. I have Acro on that one.
Good stuff.
And I after I shot the whole Lynx Brutality with it, I trust it with my life, and I love that pistol. And I don't need any other variants like F or C or whatever. S is the way to go for me.
You can work with that, no doubt. But why such a compromise on the size and the capacity? You are on a desert island.
I'm on tiny island.
You can open carry.
I don't have to. Like I really don't have to.
Right. And
Like the precision is the same for me, even with the bigger one,
Yeah,
the F1.
and I'm afraid to hear
And I can put a longer magazine there. So
that's true. That's true. I'm afraid to hear about the long gun. There's gonna be wood included.
no, man. At first, well, as I said, I want you to be more specific, and especially it should be a gun that you own. So I own brand 2. And after I saw what James Reeves was doing with brand 2, I would probably take that.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like that gun. It can definitely match the AR.
No. Yes. Of course. It can.
So yeah, I would go with the semi-automatic brand 2.
I saw some of the films you had. That seemed like it would be pretty durable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With
Alright.
Comp M4 on top of that and magnifier.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Okay, so is that all?
Yes, Alex.
Any questions? Any more questions for us? You're one of the guests actually asking us questions.
Oh yeah, plenty of those. But I think we call it for today. Tomorrow
All
you
right.
go to the range with our training wing.
Sweet. We're looking
Yes,
forward very much.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Super excited. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Alex.
for-
Let me thank you from the Czech Farms podcast. We are very happy that you have accepted our invitation. Thank you for the awesome hospitality. We are blown away. It's a beautiful place to be, and we had a blast with you on this podcast. And we hope to see you anytime soon. And all the best, man. Thank
And
you.
thank both of you for showing off your cooking skills as well. That was
No. Cut that out.
cut. Don't tell your girlfriend or anything.
No. And for you guys watching us on YouTube or listening to us on podcast platforms, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can hear more from us and other guests we are planning for the future. And I hope you like it. See you next time.
See you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.